Good afternoon, Ryan. The webcast has actually started, so if you'd like to go ahead and do your introductions, it's all yours.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. To everyone that's here with us. Hope you're having a good day so far. So today, in this webinar, we're going to be having a look at and working with Quest to see how we can start working with SharePlex and existing environments to help improve the robustness and see the different use cases of how we can use this new software. So just before we begin, just to let you know, this webinar is being recorded for later viewing. And if you do have any questions that you want to ask or just general comments, please feel free to use the chat function and questions, and we'll try to get back to you throughout the webinar, or if not, we'll try to get back to you later on via email. So just to start with, as a bit of background into who Santel is, and we've been working with the Irwin Suite as a Diamond partner for the past 25 years, and this is going through a variety of different software and use cases ranging from modeling our databases, along with data cataloging and self-service data intelligence. With quite a varied history, and in the more recent years, I've been working directly with Quest as the provider to offer software for these use cases. And these range from the Irwin Data Modeler, which you may or may not be familiar with already, along with the data catalog, the data quality, and the data literacy, which is all making up onto the data intelligence suite. And altogether, these components help form the model to marketplace workflow within the Irwin portfolio. Today, we're going to be looking at something a little bit different, as mentioned. We're going to be working with Quest to now provide the SharePlex software, which is going to introduce several new use cases for our databases, working with data reproduction and replication. I'm with a colleague from Quest, Mohammed Shazad, who is going to be going through and giving introduction and some little bit more details about the SharePlex itself and how you could use it in a variety of different areas.
Thank you very much, Brian. This is Shazad. I'm working for Quest it's almost like 15 years. And I'm going to explain about a little bit more on that, what is Quest and which line of business I'm working for right now. Quest is in the market since 30 years, and we have huge install base with that customers. And Quest has around 4 different line of business, and one of that is ISM, which is Information System Management. And I'm covering ISM. One of that product of ISM is the SharePlex. But before to go and jump on the SharePlex, I'd just like to give you the brief about the portfolio of ISM. So, as a nutshell, we have Toad. Actually, that was the first solution comes under the Quest umbrella, very like 30 years ago. Toad is very known in the market. Whoever is using the database, they know about the Toad. Toad initially, the abbreviation of Toad was like Tool for Oracle Advanced Developer. But now it's not limited to the Oracle one. And Toad has a different heterogeneous coverage. So we are covering Toad for Oracle, is covering for Oracle, and the same way the SQL Server and DB2, Sybase. We have a different sibling of Toad, which is Toad Data Point and Studio, which is heterogeneous coverage. and provide the customer an analytical part of it. And whoever really wants to have work on the data warehouse and have some analytical requirements, they can use it, Toad Data Points in the Studio. Similarly, we have another product of Quest ISM, which is Foglight. So really a good tool. Since I joined, I'm using this Foglight, and it's a performance monitoring tool which is covering the heterogeneous database. And when I'm saying heterogeneous, it means 11 to 13 different databases into the one page of glass. It gives you the full picture of database monitoring from A to Z, everything, along with that infrastructure monitoring like cloud and virtualization. Same way, if I will go to the Erwin, so Erwin already covered by Ryan, like a brief introduction about Erwin. So yes, we do cover like data modeling, data governance, literacy, catalog. So it comes under the Erwin umbrella. Now, last not least is the SharePlex. I'll go in detail with that, the other slides. I would have it. So what is SharePlex? It's a very, very good tool, and the second most tool under the Quest umbrella. We brought it around like 26 years ago. Last year we were celebrating the 25th anniversary of it. So what it does, basically it provides a database resilience. So database replication software for the high availability, making a scalability of your system, and interoperability between the platforms like on-prem to cloud, cloud to on-prem, or different operating systems if you want to upgrade it or change your operating system. So it can help. It can integrate data in the real time. So, I mean, it's really like you can use it, SharePlex, from one place to another place, moving the data, no matter it's operating system changes or some platform change like a cloud, AWS to Azure or Azure to AWS, or physical server to the virtualization. So we covers all of that. Yeah. Going further, I would explain about key benefits of the SharePlex. And one of that, the first one I put it on the top, is basically the simplicity. When customer choose any solution from the market, they will see like how easy it is to adopt. And when especially you are dealing with that database tool, so definitely the vendor's preference comes into the picture. But if your tool is not easy and easy to adopt or maintain, it would be giving you the hard time. So the principle of the Quest is basically like every single product under the Quest umbrella is basically providing a simplicity. So when you will install, you will maintain, you will find that all the products of the Quest is very simple, easy to maintain. Now, moving to the next is basically the accuracy. So when you say SharePlex or any other database resilience solution in the market, if you don't provide the accuracy from one point to another point when you are moving the data, so it will not be count. I mean, this if you will really looking for a solution which you want to use for data movement, definitely that data accuracy would be the key point in it. So we are into the market since, I said, like 26 years, and we have a huge install base of SharePlex, not talking about the specifically other products, but really the SharePlex have a huge install base. And the key point of that install base is basically whoever use once, they stick with it. So our install base, our customers who's using the SharePlex, they are using since long, and they stick with it. So we are providing like multiple use cases along with it, with no additional cost or any fees of it. So one piece of software, which is SharePlex binaries. So once you buy it, you would have it out of the box, built-in use cases along with it. And if customer wants to design as per their needs and requirements, they can do as well. So it's a very flexible to adopt their the customer's requirements. Last not least is the award-winning support. So yeah, means when you are talking about the zero downtime critical products, definitely the support play a very critical roles here. And we consecutively getting award from the DBTA and other marketplaces for the regional support. Yeah. Now I'm going to explain a little bit more about SharePlex offering, what we are offering through the SharePlex. And I'll take a little pause here because it's a really good slide to mention about what we are offering. We started from Oracle to Oracle. So since day first, we are providing support on that Oracle to Oracle replication and migration. If I will name it like really the version of Oracle, so it was like a 7.3, very first, very stable version of Oracle. So we were supporting from that to onwards. Even that time, very hardly people knows about the replication and migration, or they might have a requirement of it. But these days is a very critical role playing in the market. So Oracle to Oracle, that was the principle. So we were doing, no matter is the standard edition or the enterprise edition, we offer the same functionality on both editions. And this is not only for Oracle. So even if it is a target, and let's say if it is a SQL Server standard edition, we can help you to migrate and replicate the data from Oracle to the SQL Server, either is the enterprise or a standard version of it. Now, from Oracle to Oracle, we brought it like since market moved to the heterogeneous database coverage, and even the Gartner and other, the DBTA and DB engines, they provide like 86% of customers are using a multi-vendor databases in the organization. So we also brought it so many open targets here. So when you are dealing with that Oracle and you want to move it from Oracle, or you want to replicate it across the other database vendors, so you can use it, SharePlex. It would be easy to migrate, initial load, and then do the replication around Oracle to Oracle, Oracle to SQL Server, MySQL. Even if customer has a requirement of JSON files, and it would be like like other files, XML or SQL files requirement, just landing to the storage side. So yes, you can do that as well. And when you are talking about the files, it just clicked in my mind that the new release is coming in a week, which has a new file format support. It's basically AVRO. So that also supported now, and we are not only supporting that file, but the schema as well. So if you would have a requirement to move it from Oracle or Postgres to the AVRO file, that is also covered. So recently, like 2 years back, we moved it, or we just brought it basically from Oracle to Snowflake, which is NoSQL, and the Postgres. So these two flavors, we just brought it like 2 years back. This Postgres as a target was there since long, but now if I will move it to the second one, so this is the one we brought it 2 years back. So now Postgres is available as a source, so we can capture it, all the data from the source of Postgres, and we can replicate from the Postgres to Postgres, or Postgres to Oracle, or all these flavors of the other vendors, database vendors. So I just want to highlight here a little bit more about that. so many companies, the trend of the market is basically the moving from the Oracle to Postgres. I mean, this is not like Quest or anyone else is saying. It's just like the market trends. Even if you will Google it, you will see the percentage of the customers moving from one database to another. So that's why we saw that requirements and we brought it the Postgres. But what we are offering, if I will go back to the last slide and I will show you like Oracle to the Postgres. So this is not only the thing which we are offering. So Oracle to Postgres means if a customer wants to have it reverse of it on the same time. So let's suppose customer has that Oracle and they move to the Postgres and they want to have something around in the Oracle and they just want to come back to the Oracle, so they can do the reverse replication from Postgres to Oracle. Okay, so the same way in the Postgres as well. So if you have a source of Postgres and you want to move it to Oracle, you can have an active replication around these different database vendors like Oracle to Postgres, Postgres to Oracle. Yeah, and what we, as a nutshell, I want to put it into the one picture, like what we are offering. So yes, Oracle to Oracle, active load balancing, no matter what is source, what is target, either this is source or this is source, you can do the active load balancing. If you want to make it active passive, yes, that's the case as well. It's out of the box available. If customer wants to do the migration of patches or upgrade of operating system or the database version, they can do as well. Now we have Oracle to Oracle and Postgres to Postgres, Postgres to Oracle, active, all those things are our offering from the SharePlex side. Now I want to put little light on the use cases. So these are the out of the box, I would say, like a use case available. I'll just stick with this and I will put little light on it. So when I'm saying offloading, I think I missed it. This was the first one, sorry. So the first one is the high availability and fast that disaster recovery. So this is since the day first we are offering through the SharePlex. So if you would have it, some requirement of making a high availability, even on the standard edition of Oracle or Postgres, you can do that. Postgres is like open source as well. We supported all those flavors of Postgres. And if you want to make a disaster recovery, we don't need any intermediary in between, and you can start from the day first to do the initial load and then start replicating, and it would be real time. So we are not shipping the logs. What we are doing is we are moving a data. So it will remain very low weight, and performance-wise, it would be very, very fast in compared to other market competitors. So if I will move into the downtime and someone has or looking for some migration or just the requirement of the patches or upgrade, so SharePlex can be used for that. And we support from 11G to onwards, even 21C. 23 is in the market, but it's still like on the cloud offering, and the free version of development is there. So we are still supporting 21C. And when I'm saying 11G to onwards, 19C or 21C, it's like connect directly from one place to another. So we don't need any intermediary in between to jump into the middle version and then move it to the or jump to the 21C. It would be direct. And any hardware changes is there, or any other patches they want to apply, so we can use it, the SharePlex. And when the system is done and synchronized with the target, and you want to have an active passive replication, so the same configuration can be used for reverse or active passive replication. when we are talking about active passive, definitely active active is also comes into the mind. So definitely Oracle offers a rack system. So we can offer a very similar functionality through the SharePlex, even on the standard version. So I remember that Oracle was offering second edition, standard edition 2 on 19C, which is basically offering the rack features on the standard edition, but it's not anymore. And we were supporting since long, actually since day first, and we are still supporting the cross edition version. And then if you would have the SharePlex and the requirement of moving from enterprise to standard edition, and you want to make it active very similar to the rack functionality, you can make the same design with the SharePlex, and it will give you the conflict resolutions. So we support two different type of conflict resolution on the active load balancing. In the active load balancing, the conflict resolution means we would have it time-based or host-based priority. So no one is source, no one is target, and if the application is constantly written to the database and some end user simultaneously trying to connect and insert or update a record which is having a same ID or some sequence number, then it would be a conflict, and database will not be understand like where it has to write or which user will get the priority. So in that way, SharePlex use the conflict resolution procedure, and it would be like based on the time, milliseconds, and the host priority. So during the configuration, you can mention that this host will always be when, and it will go accordingly. Going further to the next slide, which is giving another side of use case, also offering the reporting, which is very traditional way of using the database replication. If you would have a requirement of some schema to be replicated separately and just to offload the consumption, normally customers has a requirement of the salaries being transferred, or some accounts work is at the end of the month, some transactions comes or bulk insert or update comes. So if you want to segregate those load or workloads, so what you can do is just separate the reporting instance or the schema. So in that way, we don't limitize to the table or column or the database. So it's up to customer what they want to design and what they want to replicate it. In the same way, you can do the replication of a table, raw, column, or partitioning if you would have it on your tables. So you can do that, or if you want to replicate instance to instance, you can do that as well. Second is the intermediary one. So the intermediary system is basically based on, if you would have a requirement, normally like banks has it, this type of things, and they would have a different branches or, the segregation of their systems, where they want to have a filter of data, like filtering. I would say, if I will elaborate a little bit more on that, cascading means you would be replicating from A to B to the one system, but when it will reach to the second system or the target system, you want to consolidate and then split the data into the different branches or different database, which is reporting to the branches or brokers or any other agents, depend on the business logics. You can cascade those data. So this can be helpful when you would have this type of requirement. So SharePlex can do, it would be one-time configuration. Once you set the configuration, it will do accordingly. So all those data which will come into the first instance, it will move to the second instance. And from the second instance, once it will reach there, it will segregate to the system 3 or system 4 according to the data logics you put it into the configuration. Now, the next one is basically the data distribution. So if you would have a distributed environment and you would have it one source and you want to replicate to the multiple target, you can easily make that scenario with the SharePlex. So no matter is a one source or multiple source to multiple targets, you can do that, or one source to multiple target or multiple target to the one source, you can do that as well. Last not least this is again, these things are out of the box, but you can design your own based on your requirements. So I mean, normally customer has a CDC requirement, which is change history. So if you would have a requirement of CDC and you want to keep it the data of all your changes store into separate way, like a pre-image and after image of your insert, update, delete, you can use the CDC option of the SharePlex, which we are offering. So once it will be done, it will be configured through the configuration file. It will keep replicating the insert, update, deletes with that recording of pre and after image. Okay. This is the very reverse of the distributed architecture. So if you would have a consolidation and you want to have a multiple source which is writing all the data to the one target, normally in the small business, customer has it data warehouse, or I mean, I would say like a disaster DR side on the separate somewhere on the different metropolitan geolocation, I would say. So this would be the case for DR. Basically, if you would have a multiple source, multiple agents, or I would say like a different branches writing into the headquarter. So this case would be very useful for, and SharePlex can do easily with that. And last not least, that option is basically transformation. If you will go into Oracle point of view, this is also called masking, but we normally call this a transformation of data. So there are built-in PLSQL procedures, routines provided by SharePlex as an example, but definitely it would be depend on the business logics you want to put it in it, and you can alter it, modify those routines, and get your requirements or business logics applies. The beauty of the SharePlex is basically it applies on fly. So it will not consume your database resource. What happened is when it picks the data from the source, it will check any routine is there or PLSQL procedure is being written or the logics, the business logics there. So it will trigger it and grab or transform the data accordingly on fly, and then move it or write it to the post view, which is on the target side. Then it will applies to the target. So everything would be on fly and then integrated and applies to the target. So this is how it works. So all those transformations, you can write it your business logics. Just for an example, if let's suppose you have some tables which has a credit card information and you want to mask it and you want to scramble the data, instead of real number, you can put it 000 or XXX. It's up to you, the logics, and then it will pick the data, original data. SharePlex will transfer the data in a way what you written into the PLSQL. Now moving to a very, very simple architecture we are providing. And that's the first thing I was showing about, or I was saying that simplicity of the SharePlex. So this is everything I would say. And when I would say like, we are capturing from the redo logs or archive logs in the Postgres way is a val logs. So we capture it from there and pass it to the capture queue. So again, this would be not logs file. It would be again only the data. So we are capturing the data from the logs and then move it to the capture queue, which is internal process of SharePlex. And once capture queue will understand that the export queue is ready to collect, it will internally move the data from capture queue to the export queue. So this all part would be on the source side. And once export queue will be receiving a data, and they will the export queue, it could be multiple as well, depend on the data and the environment. So we can make a multiple capture queue, multiple export queue. So export queue will realize that the post queue is ready to collect the information. Then it will send it the data across the network to the target side, and then post queue will hold the data here. Says holding a data will provide another feature of SharePlex, which is called optimistic commit. So SharePlex will applies the data to the target once the commit will initiate. So once the user will say commit, all the data which has already been traveled from the network and already reached to the post queue, it will apply to the target. So it would be matter of milliseconds. All your transaction which is already traveled and reached here, it will be there or committed to the target database. And if it is not commit and it will by any chance it will roll back, so it will discard it here. It will not come back because there's no point to come or bring the data back which has been rolled back or flushed from the database buffer cache. So that is the architecture. So no matter is a cloud, is a virtualization, is a physical server, is a black box like RDS or Exadata, all those source and targets are covered. So source, in the source way, I'm saying all the source means physical or cloud or any platform. We support the HP Unix, we support AIX, we support Linux, and in the platforms we support the GCP, Cloud SQL, Postgres. We support Oracle, Amazon RDS instances, EC2 instances, virtualization, VMware, or the physical servers as well. Right. So that was a very simple architecture of the SharePlex. And again, this would be like remain very straightforward. Like you have to install it. The binaries on the source, you will install it on the target. And once you will have a one single configuration file, which will be written or activating here into the source, it will start the replication. So this is how simple it is. It's just like a binaries installation and then this configuration file. So I'm just going to elaborate a little bit in detail this one, because this is everything about SharePlex and use cases, and this is the configuration file. So once you install the binaries on the source and target, you come into the flat file, which is out of the box example configuration file is provided. You come in here, open it, and then you will write it. What is your source ID, which is your source instance basically. And then the same format, you have to tell like what is your source schema, where you want to take it, that data, like a destination or target, and what is the routing map. So this would be your target database IP address or instance. So target IP or host name, along with that instance said SID or ID. There is multiple ways to change or write it into the configuration file in order to get some different use cases or get your requirements done through the SharePlex. You have to write it accordingly. So we have a couple of things here which you have to understand in a way that if you will write it expand keyword along with that %sign after the schema, it will do or pick all the schema tables or the objects, I would say, because we also cover tables and schemas as well as schema, table and sequence as well. So this % sign also give you the edge to have automatically add the table as well. So if later on after you activate the replication and you would create a new table on the source, you don't have to create it on the destination or the target. It will automatically create it into the Oracle or the Postgres side as well. So let's suppose your target is Oracle Standard Edition or Enterprise or Postgres. What you can do, you created a table, the new table here, it will all replicate the DDL as well. So this would be like a source, this would be target, and this is a target IP address with the instance. This is a very simple one line will activate your replication and your schema replication will start. So if let's suppose you have one table or 500 tables in the schema, all those things will start replicating. Now another example of transferring the data like replicating only all the tables but not this one table. So if you have a 500 tables and you just want to not to replicate some of tables, so you can just use the not operator with that and just put it into the bracket and it will not replicating those table which is written in the brackets. You can also limitize the DMLs just to say to the SharePlex like you want to replicate only the DMLs, you don't want to replicate the DDLs, and along with that DMLs you just want to have update and insert, not to delete. So you can mention it into the bracket. So all the DMLs will be replicate but not the delete. So in order to maintain some auditing or something, customer may have a requirement to not to do the deletes or insert or update. So you can limitize your replication along with that the format. This is a very traditional simple way of replicating only table to table. So author table replicating to the author table to the target database instance. You can just name it how many tables you want to write it or replicate it. So you can just have a list of it. If you don't want to provide the list, so this would be the first format which you can, which SharePlex can pick it automatically. We also provide the horizontal replication. So if customer really wants to replicate the rows, let's say I would have a customer table which has different regions. So I can create through the SharePlex, I can create a partition or I can use those partition with that replication code. So that partition code I can use to segregate the data, the customer data according to the regions. So all the Asian customer will be segregated to the Asian part, and with that partition code, it will segregate it. And then the Africa goes to Africa customers, and all the customers from the Europe side will go to the Europe one. So this way you can just do the horizontal rows partitioning and replication with that. The same way, if you want to do that vertical replication and you have a multiple tables, but you so many columns in it, but you just want to replicate only 2 columns, 3 columns, or some number of columns you want to replicate, not all. So you can just put it into the bracket, the column names, and it will only replicate the data of those columns which is written into the bracket. By the way, this bracket is basically without exclamation sign. So if you will put it the exclamation sign, that means you don't want to replicate those columns, but the rest of the columns. So vice versa, I mean, again, is the business logics and customer requirements, whichever they have, they can do that. And it would be very easy from the SharePlex side to maintain it or manage it in the configuration file. And again, this configuration may be at a one-time job, but some customer has a multiple requirements every 6 months or a year, so they can change it as well. But if you would have it your requirements written once, it will be keep working. And the same way, if you would have it, the CDC, this is the way of writing into the configuration. So this is the format. You will put it all the tables and then use the format of the CDC with the exclamation sign and the schema. So it will write it all the pre and after image into this table. So that's really inside of SharePlex. I have another last slide where I really want to highlight that we have a very flexible pricing model of SharePlex, which segregate with that prod and non-prod. We also have a license model of like a project base, or is there any ongoing projects, or term license, which is specific to the 6 months or 12 months or 9 months, depend on the project. And the license is basically with that, if it is a virtualization or cloud, is a vCPU, otherwise is a core on the physical servers, and socket for that standard editions. Okay, and all other, the cost, normally other competitors have it. For the sub modules, we don't have it. If you will move it to this 5, the number of 5 features, that unique features we are offering without any additional cost. So optimistic commit, compare, repair. Compare, repair is, I just name it here. It's a very similar to that Veridata of the Golden Gate. We are providing compare, repair here with no additional cost. In-flight data integrity, which is transformation, live activation, will give you the option to not to put any implicit or explicit lock on your tables while you are doing the activation of first-time replication. So it will not put your table or production tables in a state that where it will user will find a lock. So we don't put it any lock, and it will live activation. It will keep trying. Once it will get the access, it will pick it all the counts and the tables, and then it will start replicating. We have a very solid roadmap, and we just as I said earlier as well, we are just a week, like in a week time we would be launching our release, actually the 12th one, the version 12, which has a new AVRO support, the file format support. We enhance our the performance on the file system, because files are normally is not the RDBMS, is a DBMS format. So normally customers were facing some issues to when they are transferring the data from the RDBMS to DBMS. So they were facing very slowness. It's not, again, it's something which is depend on the architecture as well and the environment, but depend on that the bandwidth where you are taking to. Some customers are taking from that Oracle to landing into the Google storage or S3 storage on the Amazon. So it depends on the latency, network, and backbone bandwidth you are using. So all those things are available with that one piece of software, one price, and then all the features you can use it. I think that's all from my side, and I think Ryan, maybe we can move to the Q&A.
Yeah, thank you very much for running through that. So yes, we do have one question that's come in. This has come from Venkat, and so they just wanted to ask whether or not this could be used for data archiving from an on-prem database with both structured and unstructured data to an Azure cloud.
So very good question. Unfortunately, SharePlex is not offering that archiving options because we have some other solutions under the Quest umbrella. which offer the same thing. And if you are really looking for some sort of ETL things, Toad is available within the same line of business I'm working. So as I said initially on my ISM portfolio, Toad Data Point and Toad Studio is available as a client tool for taking it from on-prem, taking your data from on-prem to the cloud, and you can store it like in a ETL format. But if you are really looking for archiving or some taking a backup and then archive it to the cloud, check it, data protection solutions under the Quest. So I think Rapid Recovery and other solutions are available under the Quest umbrella. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for answering that question there. If anyone else has any other question, please feel free to get in touch with us further down the line if you want, and we can go ahead and get that answered for you. So I just want to give a special thanks to Quest and Mohammed for joining us today and just giving us a bit of an introduction and a bit of a dive into SharePlex and what it does. And with that, I'll thank you all for joining.